Wrestling entertainment has become a multi-million-dollar business and has made wrestlers international superstars. It has come a long way since the 1970s when there were wrestling territories all over the country, and wrestling entertainment only got airtime on local TV.
One of the biggest territories was here in the tri-state area, home to the Continental Championship Wrestling, and you could watch it on WTVY. WTVY's Dillon Huffman talked to 3 men who wrestled in a ring here in Dothan back in the heyday of the CCW.
There was a good move on the part of the stud.
Probably the best small wrestling territory in the world.
With over a half-century of history, wrestling in the Wiregrass goes back, way back, to the 1950s.
Oh, look at there!
The stuff that's on TV now, it's not wrestling.
Cowboy Dennis Gale says the WWF up north was more about entertainment, but the southern crowds wanted real wrestling.
I can put a wrestling hold on you, and then you tell me if wrestling's fake.
And that's what wrestlers gave them.
He's got the Tennessee Stud!
Ron Fuller, known in the wrestling world as the Tennessee Stud, bought Southeastern Championship Wrestling in 1978. His dad owned Gulf Coast Wrestling. The two were combined, creating Continental Championship Wrestling, CCW. Life was good. Business was booming, especially in Dothan, Alabama, where a Wiregrass TV personality got his start.
Dothan had a magic about it.
It was an extremely enthusiastic fan base. You could tell that this was a great wrestling city. It wasn't uncommon to wrestle 8 days a week, literally like the old Beatles song.
8 days a week!
Birmingham on Monday, Mobile on Tuesday,
Wednesday in Montgomery,
Thursday nights, Panama City, Friday night, Meridian, Mississippi, then Saturday night was Dothan.
Sunday we would wrestle in Pensacola.
You didn't let the fans down because the fans were the most important aspect of the business, and the guys knew that.
Television came along in the 1960s and helped CCW gain popularity all over the tri-state area.
Dothan was kind of an entity on its own because of the influence of a heavy television station with the call letters WTVY. It covered a big area, parts of Alabama, Georgia, and Florida.
CCW aired every Saturday night on your hometown news leader.
They've got Woodson in trouble here.
The 60s, 70s, and 80s, 5:30 in the afternoon, you were in front of a television set. You were going to watch wrestling.
You're talking about filling this farm center up every cotton picking Saturday night.
The Houston County Farm Center.
Dothan had 5,000 people 4 times a month. We were drawing the same number of people that they were up in the big cities.
I used to get goosebumps, actually get goosebumps in the ring sometimes. And sometimes I got it right here in this building. The fans would just electrify me.
On any given Saturday night, you had a better chance of getting a great payoff in Dothan, Alabama than you did in some of the major cities.
And they packed them in week after week.
It was fun. It was fun. Wouldn't change a thing.
With big names like Colonel Robert Parker and Lord Humongous grabbing attention, they thought it would never end.
I mean, they're having a field day, wouldn't you say?
That's Dillon Huffman reporting. Now, tomorrow, we're going to tell you the story of how it did come to an end, but recently got a revival.
I'm looking forward to that. In 1985, cable television was expanding, and so was the national wrestling scene.
But Continental Championship Wrestling here in the tri-state area was experiencing hard times for the first time. The CCW fell, but as WTVY's Dillon Huffman tells us, it has found a way to rise again.
By 1985, the wrestling business changed drastically with one company trying to own it all.
We'll get back to that later on.
Vince McMahon and the World Wrestling Entertainment was expanding from a Northeast wrestling company to a nationwide company.
He decided that he wanted to own it all. He wanted to be the only promoter of wrestling in America.
McMahon cut a deal with NBC to replace Saturday Night Live one Saturday a month with a wrestling show. Saturday night's main event ran from 1985 to 1992.
I knew when he got on national TV that this would be the end of the wrestling territories and wrestling as it had always been.
All the other territories went down. Vince had the money, had the power. That's the worst thing that ever happened. And you're looking at your numbers start to dwindle. and you're looking at all equity gone, and you're having to go in and put money every week to keep it going.
Continental Championship Wrestling couldn't compete with the much larger WWE. CCW closed its doors in 1988. Almost 30 years later,
It was really very pleasing to see that many people.
FanFest brings legends like Lord Humongous and Jimmy Golden back to Dothan for one night in May every year since 2013.
Well, this one's been the best one that we've had so far.
Cowboy Dennis Gale promotes wrestling shows all over Alabama, Georgia, and Florida, and for the past 4 years, he's had a Legends reunion at the Houston County Farm Center.
So you've got to bring some new talent in to show people along with the old talent. Look here, these guys are just as good. You just don't know them. Get to know them and you'll like them.
FanFest gives you a chance to take a journey back in time with Bullet Bob and The Blaze, who are both in their 70s, and even take a picture with your favorite stars.
We had people from Michigan. We had people from Texarkana, Arkansas there.
It's a memorable night for fans and a special trip down memory lane.
You know, you really don't realize when you leave something that people don't forget.
We have as much fun as the fans. He's going to have to get a bigger building.
Hold on!
It's not the WWE.
You're watching videotaped highlights of a match recently at the Houston County Farm Center in Dothan, Alabama.
The budget and the crowd are smaller, but for one night a year in Dothan, Alabama, wrestling is like it used to be.
This was the hotbed. It wasn't New York. It wasn't Atlanta.
A sport with colorful characters connecting the young, old, men, and women in the bleachers of the Farm Center, talking, laughing, and cheering on real, live entertainment, Continental Championship Wrestling.
It was an interesting run.
That was Dillon Huffman reporting. CCW is hosting a wrestling show next month at the Early County High School in Blakely. We have ticket info for you at WTVY.com.
I know so many people have really loved his story from last night, and we're talking about, you know, my parents always took me.
I know.
It's been fun reliving it.